I've just done another little interview on Times Radio with Phil Williams. I was on there a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago now, talking about my new book, NEURON. However, today we were talking about something much more sad, about the passing of Olivia Podmore, the young New Zealand cyclist recently. We were talking about elite sport and mental health. And obviously, whether you're an elite athlete or just a regular person living life, we have the same brain chemicals. But when you're a young elite athlete, the demands and pressure to perform are intense and getting more and more so. I started working with Team GB Olympic squads in the 90s as part of the psychology team, and then it was very much about how to use, I was using music to show people how to control anxiety, boost confidence, motivation, and to perform. But now, decades later, the pressures are so much, even greater than ever, because the difference between winning a medal and not winning a medal now, after spending your whole life pouring all those hours of effort into training, you could lose on a fraction of a point or 100th of a second, or it's the margins are so tiny. There is no room for error. And when you don't get picked for a squad after all of that effort, or you get picked for the squad but then don't get to race, or you don't win a medal, and all of the funding infrastructure that is now tied into medal tallies, it's just a pressure cooker, really, really demanding. And pile social media on top of that, when you've got young athletes who face a ton of trolling and abuse on social media channels, whether they win or lose, it's intense. And the person who was on before me, that guest, was talking about doctors' practices, and that they are really keen to push an education program to encourage people to self-care, because a lot of ailments that people go to see a doctor about, actually they could be looking after themselves. They don't necessarily, we've been over medicating, so everything is like, oh, prescription, we'll write a prescription for that, whereas a lot of these things, as I'm sure you're beginning to realise, we don't need a prescription for. It's about wellness, and it's about looking after our overall wellness. And within sport now, I know that the kind of the support for mental health is much, much greater than it ever has been in previous decades. But I think that there also is that need to educate athletes, not just about performance science, but about self-care. So how these brain chemicals operate, how your brain processes fear of rejection, fear of failure. With Simone Biles' case, it's kind of fear of injury, and when you need to get in control of those mindsets, not just for performance but just for existing and having a happy life. And an athlete says, "This, I'm not even enjoying this anymore." And back for decades now, I've had clients who are elite sportsmen and women, and they're like, "I don't even enjoy this, but my parents have invested so much money and time into it, and the sport has invested so much effort and time in me, I can't stop because I just feel guilt." So it is interesting times, but I think this Olympics has really highlighted the fact that our brain, whether you're Simone Biles or just Simon Smith down the road, we need to learn how it works, how to look after it in every single situation, every moment of life, so that we are not prone to suffering like this, and it doesn't have to be that way. So I think that a lot of changes are going to happen after these Olympic Games. and only 3 years till the next one. So yeah, so if you are interested in listening to that little interview I just did on Times Radio, the link is below this video. And if you're interested in the smart wellness principles and the biohacking programs, look at the other videos on here or head to my website. Okay.